Damn, he didn't even wait any time.
Ladies and gentlemen,
What the fuck is this?
welcome to the Slapsticks podcast.
Are you drunk?
Not yet, I'm not. I got a lot done today. Went out and voted red, of course. He might cut that. Voted red. Voted yes on sports gambling in honor of my brother Teddy. Yes on build a casino at the Ozarks to help fund education. Beautiful thing. Went and bought this tie for my Oakville hockey coaching debut on Saturday, and I figured I'd wear it to talk about how garbage the Blues played last night.
This is on you, Jeff.
All right, let's get into it. Not too much to say on the St. Louis front. They go into Ottawa last night and get smacked.
What's the score?
8-1. It was 3-0, 7 minutes into the game. 5, 6, 7 minutes, something like that. We looked horrible. Team looked slow. Honestly, neither of our goalies looked bad, but when they combined for 8 goals against, you can make the argument they were. I think my 0-10 men's league team could have beat the Blues last night. It was not good. We're looking at about 5 more weeks without future captain Robert Thomas, and if this is an indication of what the next 5 weeks are going to look like, this is going to be a tough podcast for the next 5 weeks.
It's going to be a fun one.
Maybe. For you.
Oh, come on, you hitting on them?
You know what? I will if I could do it if they need it. It was really bad.
Who did they play this past week?
So they played Toronto in Toronto, and we beat them. Really good. Probably the most complete game we've played all season long so far.
Actually, I did watch that one. I don't remember.
Really good game. Then we go into Montreal, and we lose 5-2, which I thought we played. They got the better of us early, and we never were able to come back from it. And then 2 days off in the nation's capital of Ottawa, and shit the bed. So weird game. It was supposed to start at 6. There was a power outage in the arena, so it didn't start till like 6:40. I'm not going to sit here and say that played a factor because I know it didn't. But just stupid all-around game. So not a good week for the Blues, but they go into Philadelphia tomorrow. Hopefully they can beat a terrible Philadelphia team. And then they come home for 5 straight over the next 2.5 weeks. Before we film our next episode, they will play in Philly, at home against Toronto, and at home against Tampa. So I predict beat Philly, lose the next 2. Yeah, it's allow me to take a...
So why are you wearing the tie and suit?
Well, I just bought the tie today, and I had to try it on to make sure it still fit, and it does. I got the pants and everything. Coach Jiff for duty.
Is that actually official, or are you just fucking around?
No, that's official, bro. More official than this fucking garbage. Are you kidding me? Anyways.
We can talk about that after.
yeah. Go ahead and loosen up here and talk about the rest of the league. Yeah. Week, we had a lot of good games, a lot of goal scoring, some fun hockey. Not if you're a Blues fan, but if you're a fan of most other teams, it was some fun hockey, I would say. Also, for anyone wondering, I am not an alcoholic. I'm just done with everything I have to do today, and I did a lot today. I stood in line for 3 hours to vote. That was most of the day, I'm not going to lie, but I accomplished everything I need. This is the last thing on the list.
You're one of those people who you're not, but who will do tasks, but they make it seem hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm the type of person that's like, someone will ask me to hang out at like 10 a.m. I'm like, oh, I have a dentist appointment at 4. I can't. Anyways, let's get into the league standings as we do here on Slapsticks.
Can we do it a different way?
Yeah. How do you like to do it, Nick Walker?
Like divisions. So who playoffs right now and who's not.
I like that.
Power rankings they're quit. It's useless.
I like that. Okay, let's in the East, and we'll go through all the teams who are currently not in a playoff spot, and then we'll run through those pretty quick, and then we'll talk kind of depth about the current playoff teams. Still very early in the season. Only about half the league has played 10 games so far, so this is not by any means an indication as of yet for what the playoffs will look like. We're just going through the current picture. So in the East, the 8 teams that are missing the playoffs at this moment are the 3-7-1 Pittsburgh Penguins, the 3-6-1 Philadelphia Flyers, the 3-4-2 New York Islanders, the 4-5-1 Boston Bruins. We love to see that. The 4-5-1 Montreal Canadiens, the 4-5-1. They're a team that's not 4-5-1? Jesus Christ. 4-5-1 Buffalo Sabres, The 4-4-1 Detroit Red Wings, and finally the 4-3-1 Columbus Blue Jackets. And then moving into the current playoff teams, we will go through. I'll go through and talk a bit about each of the teams, and then I'll have Nick Walk tell me who he thinks would win the current playoff matchup based on the standings right now. So going through it, in the first spot, playing the second wild card, would be the Florida Panthers at 7-3-1 versus the Ottawa Senators at 5-4. Nick Walk?
Damn, what a hard one. I'm gonna go with Florida.
Yeah, that's very, very easy. You would have the Tkachuk brothers facing off in the playoffs, which would be a very good playoff matchup. I think it would go 6, which makes it sounds a lot closer than it would be. But I think that'd be an entertaining series. Moving down to the second and third seed, we would have the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Toronto Maple Leafs, which we have seen time and time before. Nick Walk, who would your pick be?
Just based on history, I would go with Tampa Bay.
We'd have a hell of a goaltending matchup, whether it's obviously be Vasilevsky for the Lightning, but whether it's Wool or Stolarz in net for the Maple Leafs, I think it'd be a hell of a goaltending matchup. It'd be a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, that'd be the current playoff matchup. Moving down to the Metro Division, we would have the 6-4-2 New Jersey Devils against the 6-2 Carolina Hurricanes. I know who I would pick, but how about you, Nick Walk?
I'd pick by the Hurricanes.
I think I would too. I think the Devils have the better team all around in the grand scheme of things, but Carolina, time and time again, when they get to the playoffs, they're just virtually unstoppable. So I would like Carolina in that matchup. And then the final matchup in the East would be the 6-2-1 New York Rangers, my pick for the Stanley Cup, versus the 6-2 Washington Capitals.
That's a good matchup, but yeah, I'm going with.
I agree. They did lose to Washington last night. Grandpa Ovechkin had 2 goals. He's now at 857. None of them were empty netters. You might be surprised to know. But yeah, I think better playoff matchup than it was last year when they met in the first round and the Rangers swept the Capitals. But yeah, I think that'd be a good series. And then moving to the non-playoff teams in the West, again, there's some really good teams currently not in a playoff spot. So just wanted to reiterate, this is not an expectation. Yes, like Nashville and Edmonton and Colorado.
Oh shit! Yeah, you didn't have to go farther than that.
Yeah, all 3 of which I expect to make the playoffs. Yeah. Anyways, starting with a team who definitely will not make the playoffs, the 2-7-2 San Jose Sharks. They are currently on a 2-game winning streak, which means they were 0-7-2 before that, which is a hell of a tough start to a hockey season. While you want your first overall pick to play, the fact that he is already the most important piece on your roster, I think is a huge red flag. You cannot rely, I don't care if he's the next coming of Wayne Gretzky, you cannot rely on an 18-year-old kid to get you wins in the National Hockey League. But I rest my case. Next team to miss the playoffs, the 3-6-1 Chicago Blackhawks. Love to see it. The 3-5-1 Nashville Predators, who I expect to be there. Another team we expect to be there, the 4-5-1 Edmonton Oilers. The 4-4-1 Anaheim Ducks. The 4-4-2 Utah Hockey Club, who've sort of had a bad week and a half here, but I think they're still a playoff team in my eyes. The 5-5 St. Louis Blues. I've said all I need to say about them. And, of course, the team we expect to probably finish first or second in the West, the 5-5 Colorado Avalanche.
Well, their goalkeeping is just ass.
Yeah, if they can get goaltending, though, they're going to climb so fast. Yeah. But moving up to the actual current playoff matchups, we would have the 8-1 Winnipeg Jets versus the 5-4-1 Seattle Kraken. That would be a fun matchup, I think. Nick, who do you think would win?
Well, based off record-wise, I really don't know much about either one, but I feel like the Jets, they got a good goalie, right? Isn't it Hellebuck?
Yep.
So I would pick them.
Yeah, I think so too. Just lost their first game. They won 8 in a row to start the season. Dating back to last season, they were on a 14-game winning streak. So they won their last 6 last year and their first 8 this year. So Jets fans not very accustomed to losing in the last 2 months of hockey.
Well. We gotta say what Jets team. Cause
the New York Jets are very accustomed to losing. I just want to say, Ian, because I know you're going to watch this through. I love you, buddy. Aaron Rodgers ain't it. He could drink as much fucking cayenne pepper water as he wants. He's fucking garbage, okay? That team is they're nowhere. They should have kept their head coach. Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Are they 2-6?
Yeah.
Jesus. And weren't they 2-0 to start the year?
No. I think they were 2-1.
Either way, this is a football, but yeah, it's funny.
Saying,
those fans, they're losing now. So yeah, Nick and I both agree the Winnipeg Jets would probably beat the Seattle Kraken in the playoffs. But yeah, moving to our next matchup, which is always a classic Stanley Cup playoff matchup that we haven't seen in a few years, but we see a lot, is the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild.
Dude, that's a good matchup.
It is. And this would be the Minnesota North Stars.
But I would say the Stars and the Wild they might be the two best teams, well, I guess, besides the Jets.
I think so. Yeah, the Wild were not supposed to be great this year, but I mean their record doesn't lie. And they're 6-1-2. They've looked really good.
I've watched them. They got like such good chemistry. Was it Kaprizov
and Boldy and Zuccarello? That top line is probably best in the league right now.
Yeah, chemistry too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of for me. I'll pick Dallas because I picked them to be in the final, but I could see that going 7 and going either way, to be honest.
Winner of that's going to the finals.
I think so. I could definitely see it. Moving to the Pacific, then we would have the 7-2-1 Vegas Golden Knights against the 5-3-1 Calgary Flames.
Oh yeah, I'd think Vegas.
That'd be a fun matchup though. It's always a two teams play. Vegas did just beat Calgary. I think it was 5-0 the other night at home. But Calgary looks good to start the season. They started 5-0. They're now 5-3-1, so they've lost their last 4, but still finding a way to get points. And Vegas is a good team, so losing to them is not really a big indicator of how you're playing. And then the final playoff matchup, which would be the 5-3-2 Los Angeles Kings versus the 4-1-3 Vancouver Canucks. Now, I will say before we pick, I fully expect the Kings to still miss the playoffs, but given this matchup, I would pick Vancouver to destroy Los Angeles.
I was going to pick Vancouver. I thought you were going to say
I'll never predict a sweep in hockey because it's way too hard, but I would say Vancouver in 5 all day long.
I think Vancouver. Did we agree on all of them?
I think so, yeah. They're all pretty cut and dry right now. We'll see in the next couple weeks here what happens, but yeah, they're all pretty cut and dry. All right, folks, tune in next week where I'm much more sober and dressed regular clothes.